Hello everybody, my name's Thomas and I used to teach Russian to US military linguists. I learned the language as an adult and was eventually recruited, but totally separate from any jobs that I had. Getting to use the language, learning a foreign language completely changed my life. Now, maybe you have a burning desire to learn a foreign language, but you're not sure which one to choose. Or maybe you've already started and you're starting to have second thoughts about the language you chose. In this video, I'm gonna share with you 4 steps to completely resolve that issue and finally answer the question, what language should I learn? I honestly haven't heard anybody talk about this. There are books out there to help you choose what profession you should get into, like what color is my parachute, but not so much when it comes to language acquisition. I'll first point out that the language you choose should not be dictated by what is offered at your school or university. Autonomous learning is what I've personally had success with, what I used to teach, and what I continue to recommend. It's the only way. There are definitely all kinds of external factors that can influence your decision, but at the end of the day, the language you choose to learn should be primarily your decision and yours alone. Now first, don't rush through this, guys. The process I'm about to share is important, but it's also the fun part. Just imagine all the different places you can go, the people you're gonna meet, and how your life is gonna change as a result of you learning a foreign language. And also your brain is going to be changed forever. I'll give you an example. I still to this day will mix up D's and G's because in Russian cursive, how we would write a G in cursive English is the equivalent to a Russian D.
And this is the small letter, which is, I guess, confusing because it looks like G in Latin, but it's D in Russian.
I mix those up in my head if I'm writing one or the other. While that may not seem like a benefit, and sometimes it can be kind of annoying, it's also a reminder that I've almost permanently shifted my brain because I've learned this other language and been immersed in it so long. So you really want to think about how cool that is that you start to pick up on these new perspectives. And I really want you to have fun with this decision and just think about all the different possibilities, visualize where you're going to be taking your life in the future. The first 2 steps to this process that I'm sharing with you today have to do with 2 components of yourself, and that is the dreamer and the doer. Now, the dreamer has to do with the first step, which is establish your why. Romanticize about all the, maybe it's cultural fascination, maybe it's some place that you want to go or people that you want to meet. Maybe it's a language that you think sounds the best and it doesn't really have, that aspect of it doesn't really have practical applications to it, but you just really like it. It sounds beautiful to you and you've always been intrigued by it. Now, when establishing your why, you also want to think about, as the dreamer, you are visualizing what language would you like to be proficient in if money was not an object. Taking all the practical applications, all the tangible real life things and setting them aside and just dreaming about what would you want to be able to speak and understand. All right, now the second step is to identify your ideal proficiency level and a possibility for income. In the first step, we talked about establishing your why as the dreamer, as if money was not an object. It's important to come to terms with the fact in the second step that money is an object. It is. And this is a long game. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. We're going to use our language skills in the real world and provide tangible value to other people. And this is what money is. This isn't some business, entrepreneurship guru channel, obviously. But if you're not seeing money that way, that is relevant here because we have to see our language skills as something that's a gift and a benefit to us. And how selfish would it be if we didn't figure out a way for those skills to benefit other people? When you can combine your new language proficiency with a new source of income, or at least assisting your current your current source of income, that's really what allows you to kind of keep the language going, how it allows you to practice it. Because if it's something that's just on the side that you're doing for fun, that falls under the first category of the dreamer, that's great. And it's okay for it to start that way. But if you don't figure out a way to make money using it, then it's ultimately going to fall by the wayside, because you do need to make money, and you do have to figure out a way to provide value to other people. I might get a lot of heat on that one. That's okay. I will tell you that, firsthand experience, all the people that I knew in college who were the most successful with keeping their language skills up for a long period of time were the ones who could figure out a way to make money with it. And again, this should not be seen as a negative thing. It shouldn't be seen as like, oh, bummer, I have to do this. It's a chore. It should still be fun. It should be a creative exercise where you can figure out a way to marry your passion for it with actually providing valuable in the tangible world. You can provide a lot of value to your employer if you're an employee, or if you're an entrepreneur or somebody that does stuff on the side. That really opens a lot of doors, and you want to find a way to make that stick. And if you can't find a way to make money with the language that you're interested in, it might be worth considering another language. And I know that sounds a bit extreme for a lot of people, but I got to be honest, again, it's just about longevity and the fact that language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. And in the long run, you want to pick something that you can make money with just so that you stick with it. The third step that you want to complete to make sure that you choose the right language to learn is to contact at least one native speaker or a heritage speaker of that language. And in case you don't know, a heritage speaker is somebody who grew up in a family, in a household speaking that language, but not necessarily in the country of that target language. The point here is just that you want to make it more a part of your life. So you can talk with this other person about any topic that you want, anything that interests you. And you can even tell them like, hey, I'm thinking about learning this language, whether it's, Arabic, Chinese, Russian or Spanish, whatever it is, and just kind of bond with them over some topic. You want to bring both the dreamer and the doer, all of that together. Now, the fourth and final step is a fun one. I want you to think of a place where that language is spoken that you're interested in, and print up a picture of it, a place that you would like to visit. I was actually going through some of my old college things, my old college materials, and I found in one of my Russian binders a print up of an old picture of the Bank Bridge in St. Petersburg, Russia. And this wasn't even something that I needed to have for a class or anything like that. It was something that I personally kept as kind of a vision, almost like a vision board, if you've heard of those things, that technique to think about like, hey, one day I'm going to learn this language good enough so I can speak with anybody. What's funny is I never ended up going to St. Petersburg, and it's okay because I went there in my mind, and what ended up happening in reality is I lived in Kazakhstan for close to a year where Russian is spoken, and I ended up, getting to know a lot of Russians, a lot of Ukrainians, people from all over. And this was very beneficial to me because even though I didn't really know that was what I was doing at the time, I would see this every day, and I intentionally kept it as a reminder to myself that one day I will become proficient in this language. Maybe it's a place that you really want to see that's beautiful. I've always thought that St. Petersburg is a beautiful city. There you have it. There you have your assignment, the 4 steps to choosing the right language or making sure that you have chosen the right one. To recap everything, we have the dreamer side of your brain, and that is to establish your why. And that can be, again, cultural fascination. It can be everything if money was not an object. Number 2 is recognizing that money is an object and figuring out a way to make an income with that language. And then for the 3rd step, we have contact a native speaker or a heritage speaker of that language and make your visions more of a reality and start talking about some things that are of interest to you now and find some common ground. The 4th and final step is I want you to pick a place that you would like to visit or at least see, and print up a picture of it and then carry it with you around. Look at it every day, and then that should serve as inspiration to you and also be kind of an indicator as to whether you've chosen the right language that kind of drives you to want to dive deeper every day. That's it for this week, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any comments, questions, or criticisms, definitely let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.